Welcome to Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. And now, coming to the mic, your host, Jalen Walker.
Test. What's up, guys? Welcome to Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. I'm your host, Jalen Walker. Happy Halloween, everyone. Wow, UFC on Halloween. It's crazy. We have a lot to unpack today, as always. We'll talk about Khabib's impressive victory over Gaethje and also his retirement. Also, we'll break down Leon Edwards versus Khamzat and how it all came together. Great fight card tonight. Anderson Silva versus Uriah Hall. This is the first ever event UFC has hosted on Halloween. And how, oddly enough, this will be Anderson Silva final walk into the UFC octagon on this historic night. We'll break it all down and much more. But first, support for Pound MMA podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist groomer. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Have you ever nicked yourself by trimming your family jewels? It sucks. It's not pleasant, and it bothers you all day and night. Razors, no. Regular clippers, no. None of it works, and it's just a hassle to keep up with. They sent me some product. Let me go ahead and open it real quick and show you guys. Hold it up for the camera. See? All right. It's nice packaging, to be honest with you. It's very nice packaging. Can you guys see that? Your balls will thank you. Manscaped. All right, let's go ahead and move this. Look at that. Can you guys see that? Let me put it up to the camera real quick. The whole set of the Manscaped 3.0. But, here, let me go ahead and put this on here for you guys so you guys can see this a little bit more. If you're listening on the non-video podcast, you can go ahead and skip through just a little bit because I'm going to go ahead and show them some of these products, and you obviously can't see it. But yeah, so this comes with the 3.0 lawnmower trimmer with the LED. And then they also got the docking charger in here and stuff like that. Let me go ahead and pull this out for you guys. The packaging is just very, 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 very nice. Let's go ahead and pull this out. So you get your docking charge with your trimmer, which is super nice. You can always keep it in the bathroom. And we got the ball deodorant. Get the camera, there we go. And then you got the ball toner. This is to help with rashes and razor burn and stuff like that, which doesn't really happen with Manscaped with the 3.0 trimmer. But this is just to help cool down and relieve redness and stuff like that. Put that up there. And yeah, let's go ahead and what else is in here? I think they also the 3.0 package comes with some underwear, which I've actually worn before. They're another pair. They're very, very comfortable. Let's go ahead and move this over here for a second. You know, also they have these nice, very nice high quality leather bags, travel bags. Very nice quality, very spacious. You can put everything in there. But yeah, it's a very nice kit. This is the 3.0 perfect package. Overall, just very impressed with this. I'll go ahead and put this up on the camera so you guys can see it. It's a very nice package overall. Very professional. But yeah, that's the product. Let's go ahead and get back into some of the details about it. Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. I'll go ahead and hold this right here so we can see this. There we go. But yeah, Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team has perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and just released a new and improved lawnmower 3.0 in the UK. So if you're in the UK, you can order this now. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. When I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last 30 minutes or 90 minutes, so you can take as much time as you need with your shave. The waterproof technology allows you to groom in the shower also, which is very, very nice. One of the coolest features is the LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for closer and more precise trimming. They've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. And let's not forget about that charging stand, which I just showed you guys. Show your mower off loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is convenient charging dock powered by USB. If you are listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand yourself. Let's get that bush to tush clean. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code pound for pound at manscaped.com. Make your testes your besties. That is 20% off plus free shipping with code pound for pound at manscaped.com. I just want to thank Manscaped for sending me these packages and sponsoring the podcast. Really do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and show this one more time. Your balls will thank you, Manscaped. Overall, just beautiful packaging. Check it out. It's a really, really high quality product. I was very, very surprised. But yeah, that's manscaped.com. Pound for pound promo code, 20% off plus free shipping. All right, time to move on. First on the show, I want to introduce our guest who recently competed on Dana White's Contender series, where he secured a UFC contract with an impressive arm triangle. His UFC debut is in December 12th. But yeah, this guy is incredible. Watching him on the Contender series and seeing his other fights, he's very entertaining. But yeah, I'd like to welcome to the podcast Jimmy the Brick Flick.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
What's going on, man? How you doing? Awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to talk to you for a second. Just talk to you about your career and how you got to this point. You're currently training out of Forza Combat Sports in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, with Coach Leo Periucci. Is that how you pronounce it? Periucci. Nice. What's that environment like out there?
Oh, man, it's a great environment. We bring a lot to the gym, from kids to adults to females. Originally started as a Muay Thai gym. We got Cody Carstetter in there, which is a college wrestler, really accomplished. He's our wrestling coach now. I'm working on the jiu-jitsu program and the MMA program along with these guys. It's a great environment. I also jump around at a few gyms here in Tulsa, Primate BJJ and Thunder Kick Tulsa. I jump around from a few other gyms, but my main gym is Forza Combat Sports.
Nice. Yeah, I messaged you and I was wondering what your main gym was because I saw all the gyms you currently go to, and there's not a lot of fighters that do that transition to this gym, to this gym, to this gym. You seem to want to learn from everyone and are hungry and eager to learn. So that's awesome, man. So you're from Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Are you a Sooners fan by any chance?
Oh, yeah, big Sooners fan. Not a good year for us this year, but yeah, I'm a Sooners fan for sure, man. And I've been born and raised here in Sand Springs, Oklahoma my whole life.
That's awesome. Yeah, unfortunately for a lot of football teams, NFL and college, it's been going downhill for some people. So join the club. Yeah. So yeah, you began wrestling at the age of 4. Who got you into wrestling?
My dad. I had 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters growing up. I was an ornery kid, got beat up a lot. My dad got us into wrestling, and it took off from there, man. And at 17, I ended up getting into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the story just started itself.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you wrestled your whole life, and you were a 5-time state runner-up in elementary wrestling. Do you take anything away from those early days of wrestling that you use now?
Oh, yeah, all the time, man. The grind in the wrestling room is something that you will never get from any other sport. And any wrestler can tell you that. The mental toughness that we have and everything we go with, especially starting at 4 years old. I wrestled all the way up until I was 4, until I was 18 years old.
Wow.
Until I got into fighting. And I've done it my whole life. And I think that's what helps with my work ethic so much. That's why I outwork all these guys, man. I mean, we just fought Nate Smith, which was undefeated. He was a junior Olympic wrestler and Greco and freestyle. He had a great pedigree for wrestling. So I went out there, I broke him down. It took me a couple rounds, but we broke him down, and we were able to get that finish in the 3rd round. And I feel like that all came from starting at the wrestling room at a young age.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, getting those basic fundamentals at such a young age, it's just second nature for you. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't get that opportunity to do something that they're going to do for the rest of their life starting at such a young age. So that's awesome, man. So when you were 17, you moved to Corpus Christi, Texas. There you started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under black belt Hector H-Train Munoz at Full Contact Fight Academy. How was that experience? How was that time down there?
Oh, man, it was great, man. I said, didn't do very good in school at 17, ended up dropping out. My dad was like, you've been in sports your whole life. We're putting you in jiu-jitsu. And we went down there. We met Hector, and it was amazing, man. Hector's a mean guy. He's got really good jiu-jitsu. I had really good wrestling. And you don't see a lot of wrestlers that are very good off their back. And I feel like I'm one of the very few. I turned into jiu-jitsu very well, but I also like to use my wrestling to be on top and use my jiu-jitsu. I got very good stand-up, and that's where we got the nickname The Brick. It's because my game's solid all over. I got good wrestling, nice. I got good jiu-jitsu, and I got good stand-up. So it couldn't win any better, man. My dad throwing me in the gym down there in Corpus. Hector took me over to Albuquerque, New Mexico with Greg Jackson's a couple times. I even fought out of Greg Jackson's on my 2nd pro fight. And I've lived with Donald Cowboy Sharon for 6 months.
That's awesome, man. That's my favorite fighter.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite fighters, and that's why, man. I've lived with this guy. I've seen how this guy wakes up. That's
crazy, man. Were you on the ranch?
Oh yeah. I was on the ranch back when they had the tap out house, man.
Man, you lucky. God. That's awesome, man. He's so cool in that ranch out there, that whole environment, everything he's got going. It's just the vibe. It is literally the vibe. That's awesome, though, man. That's cool.
Yeah, actually, I even have a fight shirt that I put the ranch on the back of it before they even started calling it the BFM Ranch.
Yeah.
So I've been around the sport for a long time. Like I said, I turned pro in 2010 in Bellator 20. Yeah, they had Bellator 200 and something last night.
Yep.
So
yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to your time with Bellator and stuff like that. But first, soon after you moved to Corpus Christi, you had your first amateur fight in 2009. Is that correct? That's what I found.
Yeah, April 2nd, 2009, had my first amateur fight.
What organization was that with? I couldn't figure out who it was, who was against.
It was a small company. It was called Battlegrounds Amateur Association or something.
Okay,
and
cool.
Actually, James Vick made his MMA debut as an amateur on the same card as me. Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that, man.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that's how I met James Vick and some other fighters as well, man. We've been on this journey for a long time. Yeah,
you've been going at it for a long, long time. You've been in the sport since you were you've been pro since you were 19. 2010 is when you turned pro. We just said that. And I mean, that's such a young age to turn pro. Now you look at some of these guys, they're not getting pro until 24 or 23 and stuff like that. So how is it turning pro at such a young age when most kids, your age, were heading off to college and stuff like that?
Yeah, man, I had a different journey. Like I said, school didn't work out, and I was in sports my whole life. And we got down there, and at 18, I turned amateur, and I went 7-0 as an amateur with 6 fights in the first round. 1 in the second round. I had titles at 125 and 135, and got the call from Bellator to come in and fight 6-2 Humberto De Leon. They were bringing me in to lose to Humberto because I had an amateur record.
Yeah.
Humberto had jiu-jitsu. He liked to pull guard and hit flying arm bars and full guard in fights and stuff.
Yeah.
So I knew it was a perfect matchup for me, especially with my wrestling. So we jumped on it. We took that fight, and that's how our pro career started off.
That's awesome. That's sick, man. That's super dope. One of the coolest things I read about you, and it was kind of unfortunate for you, but in 2013 you were the #1 alternate for season 18 of The Ultimate Fighter. But unfortunately, in your case, no one mixed weight. That was the year Team Rousey, Team Tate, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. That must have been so unfortunate just to be so close to that, to being on the show, because that's an iconic show. I mean, every MMA fan has watched most seasons. Everyone remembers Connor's season, Uriah Faber's season, Cody and all them. Like, it's an iconic show. So to be that close but not be able to take that and run with it, how did that feel?
Oh, dude, it was heartbreaking, man, to make it that far. And then not only for that to happen, but to watch the show and see two guys miss weight and one guy end up getting a bye and one guy missing weight and getting kicked off the show. And since we're on it, Anthony Gutierrez missed weight on the show after his opponent missed weight and got kicked off the show. A couple years later, I got offered that fight in his hometown of Missouri. I took that fight at 135 because I wanted to go make a statement because that should have been my spot. Yep. 2 weeks before the fight, he pulled out. Never got my opportunity to make my statement versus that guy. They offered me a fight on short notice with somebody else. I turned it down because I wanted Anthony for a reason.
Yeah.
I never got Anthony Gutierrez. I've had some up and downs from going from 135 to 125. The UFC talking about cutting the flyweight division. I went back up, had a loss to Ray Rodriguez. They brought the flyweight division back. So we've been at flyweight ever since, and we've been on a tear.
That's awesome. So from there, after not being in the contender series, the Ultimate Fighter, you went on to fight with Extreme Fighting League, King of the Cage, Bellator, Legacy FC, LFA, FCF, just all these organizations. Which I don't want to ask what was the favorite, but out of all these organizations, where did you feel like you grew the most?
LFC and LFA had to be the most. They bring in high caliber guys. But freestyle cage fighting, they took great care of me here in my hometown. I'm their 125-pound champ, and Dorothy, the owner of the company, is actually my manager now. So they took great care of me, and after we won that title, they helped get me to the LFA cage, get me back on the big stage, then the Tuesday night Contender, now the UFC. So all the companies have been amazing, from King of the Cage to XFN, LFA. I mean, it's all an experience, but none of them are going to be able to compete with what the UFC does for us. That's why everybody wants to make it to the UFC. Just the way the UFC took care of me at the Tuesday night Contender series was amazing, and I can't wait to make my UFC debut. It's actually going to be December 5th on the Darren Till and Jack Hermanson card.
Okay, so I thought it was December, a different day. Okay, so December 5th. Okay, awesome. Good to know that.
December 5th on the Darren Till, Jack Hermanson card.
Yeah, that's going to be a good fight.
I don't know where we'll fall on that card. I imagine I'll probably be one of the earlier fights, but I'm just ready to get in there and, continue this journey, man.
Who is that against? Is that against Cody Durden by any chance?
Cody Durden.
Yeah,
Cody
okay.
Durden, 11-2-1.
Yep.
He hasn't made 125 in a while, so I'm interested in that. But, I mean, we're in the UFC. I don't care, man. He misses weight, I'll just take his money. So it's no big deal, dude. We're not on this fucking low gird circuit no more where these guys can, lollygag and keep their money and only worry about losing a couple $100 or something.
And that's what Adesanya was talking about after his fight.
I'm excited, man.
I don't know if you saw that. That's what Adesanya was talking to Dana White about after his fight. He was saying 30% is not enough for these people to miss weight. Like, there needs to be 90% or something like that.
They need to be suspended. Because I can tell you right now, if I'm sitting in the sauna and I know I got a fight coming up, and I'm like, man, if I miss weight, they're going to suspend me for, let's say, 6 months on your first fight.
Yeah.
You know, you miss weight. I think you should lose 20% of your winnings, and then you should get suspended for 6 months.
It's
Well, I mean,
30% right now, I
the right
think.
to miss weight and then turn around and be able to fight again in a couple months.
Yeah.
You know, that's ridiculous, man. I think they should be suspended for 6 months. They miss weight again, then they get suspended for a year and have to go up in weight. You know, just kind of like they're doing with the steroids now. It gets worse the more you do it, man. And these fighters, they don't care, man. They don't care, man.
Yep. I mean, yeah, and look what suspensions from performance enhancers does. I mean, TJ Dillashaw was one of the biggest names in the UFC. Now he's been gone for 2 years. I mean, when he comes back, yeah, everyone's gonna remember, but that's 2 years of his career down the drain that he doesn't get back. And when he was in his prime, remember that man was on all those Toyo tire commercials. He was on everything for the UFC. He was huge for them, and then that happened. You're out of there, done. But we'll see what happens when he makes his way back. Before we get too ahead about your fight and stuff like that, I wanted to mention some of your accolades that you've had during your career. You were the BACA 125 amateur champion, the TRACC 135 amateur champion, the LFA 125 champ, the FCF 125 champ, the IXFA 125 champ, former XFN 135 champ. I mean, that's champ, and I mean that's just racking up. And the most impressive thing, I'm gonna go ahead and go a little bit forward here. You have 15 wins, 5 losses, and out of your 15 wins, you have 13 submissions. That's a nasty stat, dude. That is insane. I mean, you have a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but that, I mean, I've seen some of the fights, but even on Contender series, how you just got him on the ground and just wrapped him up, it was impressive. You could tell that you were just trying to show your skills, and then just lock and load and just get the job done in the third round, and it came through. It came through big time.
Oh, yeah, man. I love to finish, man. I have a loss on my record. The only loss that was by decision. My fights are killed or be killed. Out of the 15 wins, the only guy I've never finished was Gilberto De Leon.
Yep.
I beat him in Bellator by unanimous decision, and then I beat him for the IXFA 125 title by unanimous decision. All my other opponents I've finished. Even as an amateur, I went 7-0 with all finishes by submission.
Yep.
That's why I tell people I got the Khabib wrestling and I got the Damian Maia jiu-jitsu. You put them together and you got Jimmy the Brick Flick, baby. And I like to finish. I hate the scorecards, man.
I like
hate
it.
The scorecards. You never know what judges are watching. And like I said, I have a loss on my record. I had dudes back for 10 minutes of a 15-minute fight, and I lost by unanimous decision.
Yep.
It's on UFC Fight Pass. Look up King of the Cage. Look up Jimmy Flick. You can watch it.
I watched it. I watched that fight.
Please,
I didn't watch the full thing. I didn't watch the end, but I saw some of that fight.
I mean, down every fight. He beat me up a little bit. I won't take that away from him at all. But if you do control, you do pressure, everything, the guy couldn't get away from me, and I had him the whole time. Besides some punches that landed and caused some damage, the guy didn't do nothing to me. I had him in chokes. I had his back. I did everything. And I was in his hometown, Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the main event on UFC Fight Pass, you know, and the matchmaker was in his corner as well. So the guy that matched the fight was in his corner coaching him during the fight. But, I mean, you didn't see me go out there, release videos complaining about it. I got back in the cage, got my win streak going. That's why I tell people I've had some ups and downs in this career. But I never gave up. Fast forward 10 years later, I'm making my UFC debut. And
big
all the
time
hard
now.
work is paying off.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something I wanted to talk to you about. Just people that come into the sport, they're transitioning from other sports or whatever, and they're coming into the UFC or mixed martial arts. You've been grinding wrestling your whole life. You became a pro wrestler or a pro MMA fighter 10 years ago. You've been steadily on that grind and heavily pushing yourself to get to their ultimate goal, which I'm assuming right now is the UFC, but then going to be the title. Do you have anything to tell some of these young fighters and some of these people that just like, man, this is never going to work for me?
Oh, yeah, man. I never give up, man. I came from a very, very poor family here in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. A lot of people don't even know where that at. It's a little bitty town outside of Tulsa. We don't have a big population. Teachers told me growing up I wasn't going to accomplish nothing. My family was in and out of drugs, prison, jail. My water was cut off. My electric was cut off. My house ran off of a generator. And I always told myself I was going to become something. No matter what happened in my life, I knew I was going to become something. I had too hard of a work ethic to give up. And even in fighting, when I went to the Ultimate Fighter, I was an alternate. I was 6-1 at that time. I thought it was my opportunity, and I didn't. I was so close to making it, and I didn't. I got pushed away. And then, got back on a win streak, and then you lose, and then it's like starting all over again. And it's no different in life when you're down, man. You just got to pick yourself back up, and you got to keep going. It don't matter what kind of family you come from, rich, poor, it doesn't matter, man. As long as you strive to become somebody and you give it everything you got, it's possible for it to come true. And now I'm a little guy here from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, and I get to let these people know I made my dream come true. And that's what strives me every day, man.
I mean, that's the mindset to have. I mean, some of the most successful people in sports are the underdogs, the people that had to come from nothing and make it to the top. And it just makes you hungry, and it makes that drive so intense. But I wanted to talk to you again about your ground game. Who's your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach right now?
Right now, it was the guy that I got belted from, Hector Munoz.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
do I have a jiu-jitsu coach that I work with regularly? No, I don't actually. That's why I jump around here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's a black belt named Blake Haynes. I work with him. I also work with Thomas Longacre. He is only a brown belt, but he's also a kickboxing world champ over at Thunder Kick Tulsa. He fought for Chuck Norris in the World Combat
Oh,
League.
nice.
He trains under Brandon Quick with B Quick BJJ.
Okay,
and
cool.
He's got an awesome style over there too, man. So I jump all over around Oklahoma. I don't actually have a specific jiu-jitsu coach where I work with, but I work with a lot of people, and I'm always constantly learning. That's why I don't work or coach full time. I don't want to be a coach full time yet. That's why I brought Coach Leo on. He really works with my Muay Thai and my MMA program and making sure I'm getting all the work. We got Cody Carstetter with my wrestling. And I even have another Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Micah Stockton. He's also a 125 pro MMA fighter. Me and him get a lot of work together. We're both wrestlers with really good jiu-jitsu. So I jump all over the place and get it, man. And I'm just always working, and I'm always trying to learn.
That's awesome, man. I mean, just for you to say you don't have an actual jiu-jitsu coach and you're that dominant in jiu-jitsu, that's pretty crazy, man. That's pretty impressive. So who are some of your fighters that you're looking forward to fighting in the UFC in the flyweight division?
Man, I've been chasing Brandon Royval since before he won that LFA title.
Okay.
Long story short, I got the call to fight Brandon a year ago for the LFA title. I wasn't even in the gym. I accepted the fight right off the couch and got to training immediately. I kept asking for the contract. I was told I was the first one that was offered the fight. I accepted the fight immediately. 3 days later, I wake up and there's a poster that he's fighting Scoggins for the 125 title in LFA, which a lot of people, if you watch LFA, you know that fight never happened. Scoggins ended up pulling out a week before the fight. They called me back and was like, oh, hey, you want to take the fight again? I'm like, no, I'm not taking it on a week's notice.
No.
If y'all want to reschedule it, at least give me a 4-week camp for the next show. I would love to fight him. Well, he ended up fighting some guy with an okay record, like 29-14, 29-15, whatever his name was. And Brandon Royval armbarred him in like fucking 30 seconds and won the fight. And now he's in the UFC. He got Tim Elliott right off the bat. Then he got the Franca kid or whatever, beat that kid. Now he's, one of the top guys in the UFC. He's in the top 5. He wins his next fight. He's fighting for a title. So I'm trying to chase that guy. My LFA title fight was in 38 seconds. His was in 23 seconds. So he beat me on it. So now he's in the UFC. He's got 2 fights in the UFC. He's in the top 10. That's what I'm trying to do. So I want to go take out Cody Durden. If Brandon wins again, I'm trying to get Jussier Formiga or Tim Elliott. I want somebody in the top. I've been in this sport for a long time. I got over 20 professional fights. I'm seasoned. I'm the LFA champ. I want the best of the best. I'm 30 years old, and I've proven myself. And come December 5th, I'm going to make a statement, and I plan on getting one of these top 15 guys.
Yeah, now that you mention it, you versus Tim Elliott would be a damn good fight. That would be a damn good fight. That would be. I mean, I hope.
Jussier Formiga, I think, would be an amazing one. He's, you know, he beat the UFC champ. He is also on a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah.
So he's still in the top 10 because he's a beast. He's been, you know, in the top 10 for like 10 years. Since I started fighting, when I first started fighting as a professional, he was the #1 ranked flyweight in the world before the UFC even brought the flyweight.
Yep.
So I've been this guy forever. So that's like one of the idols I really do want to fight. But I would like to sub out Tim Elliott, and I would love to fight Brandon Royval as well.
Yeah, those. I mean, there's a lot of people we could. I mean, the matchmakers can match you up with. That would be some damn good fights, and that just that shows how good of a fighter you are and how technical you are. I mean, I'm telling you, man, I watch Contender series faithfully. I've been watching it since. I mean, I even watched the Brazil ones. I watch them all. But when I was watching yours and I saw you come out in the 3rd round, I could just tell. It was about to end, and I saw you just get him to the ground, and then, whoo, that arm triangle choke was nasty, man. That was nasty. It put him to sleep, pretty much. I mean, that was impressive.
He was.
Yeah, he was going to be put to sleep. He was definitely going to be put to sleep. But yeah, that was.
And if you look up that C.J. Hamilton fight, dude, my head and arms are different than everybody else. I finished a head and arm on C.J. Hamilton from the back.
Really?
People can't compete with my jiu-jitsu, especially at 125 and my wrestling. I'm super strong. I'm super confident, and I love to finish.
I mean, yeah. I mean, your record shows that you get the job done pretty much most of the time. I mean, again, 13 submissions and 15 wins. Like, that's crazy. What were the other 2 wins? Were they knockouts?
What's that? A decision over Humberto De Leon.
Oh, that was the Bellator. And what was the other one?
IXFA 125 title. That was a 5-round fight too. So I've been 5 rounds with Humberto, and like I said, I've done it all, man. I've been to a decision. I've finished fights in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round. And that's the thing. I'll finish fights in every round. It doesn't matter.
I feel that. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much everything for your career. I mean, you're on a roll, man. You're on your way to the top. You're doing everything right. It took a little bit of time for people to recognize you and learn your name in the big time, but I honestly think you're a sleeper, man. I really do. I mean, when I was first starting to get guests, I hit you up on Instagram, and you were a little busy at the time, but I hit you up pretty much like a week or 2 after your fight, and I just wanted to just talk to you because, man, like, you're a sleeper. Something big's going to happen for you, I hope. But before I let you go, I want to ask, who do you got in tonight's main event, Uriah Hall or the legend, Anderson the Spider Silva? Who you got?
Man, dude, I think too many people are sleeping on Anderson.
Thank
dude.
you.
And,
Thank you.
I got Anderson, man.
Same.
He's my sleeper tonight, dude. It's his last fight. It's his going out fight.
Last fight with the UFC. I think he's gonna go to the Bellator. I think he's gonna go Bellator. I think he is.
And I mean, why not? There's more money in Bellator. That's what people don't understand. They're taking away our endorsements. They're taking away our sponsorship, your advertisement, and they get paid more money for it. I mean, you can't hate them for it, but that's just how the sport works.
Yeah.
But I think Anderson, man, he's an amazing counter fighter. He has nothing to lose. And Uriah Hall has everything on his back in this main event right here, dude. So I got Anderson. And I think Anderson's going to knock him, man. I hope he knocks him.
Yeah, he's either going to knock him or I feel like Anderson Silva's going to get the unanimous decision win. I think he's just going to piece him up. I think he's really going to try to throw a show, put a show on for everyone tonight just because this is his last time on the UFC for sure. I mean, he said on most podcasts, yeah, this is it for the UFC. I don't think they're going to re-sign him. I think he's at that age where Dana doesn't really want to have him get hurt in his organization. So I think Anderson Silva is he's gonna show off tonight. I think I really do see it happening. I mean, he's lost his last 3 fights, which is unfortunate, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see the Spider walk into the octagon for the last time with the UFC. I'm really pumped.
Yes, me too, man. I've loved Anderson my whole life, man. Hell, I'll never give up on the guy.
Yeah, he is the true legend and a true GOAT. But yeah, thanks for coming on the show today, Jimmy. I really look forward to seeing. When's your fight again? December
5th, the Darren Till versus Jacker Manson card.
Nice. And Instagram. What's your Instagram? Brick MMA?
Hey, baby. Twitter at Jimmy Flick. And then I have my fan page, Jimmy the Brick Flick.
All right. And then Twitter. What was Twitter?
At Jimmy Flick.
At Jimmy Flick. All right. Anything else you want to plug? Any sponsors? Anything for you?
Yeah, just say thanks to all my sponsors. Harvest Health, The Plug 918, Ryan and Rose Roofing, Paint It Right Tulsa, Industrial Motor Services, All Britain Plumbing, Tulsa Plastics. Let's see, the list goes on, man. I have so many. HKA USA. I got a lot of supporters. I got a lot of sponsors that really take great care of me. Code Zero Customs. I got CrossFit Sand Springs. I can't thank everybody enough. If I'm forgetting you, I give y'all love all the time. I appreciate all my sponsors. I got fight shirts coming out. If anybody happens to want a fight shirt, you have all the way up until Monday morning to order one. They're $25. And if you pay for shipping, I ship. I use PayPal and Facebook Pay to pay for them. Like I said, December 5th, man, we're ready to go out there and do work. I appreciate all my sponsors, all my supporters, and I appreciate y'all for bringing me on. And shout out to Manscaped. Shit was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, for sure. Manscaped's where it's at. They're definitely here to support podcasts and to help people out and show their product off. But yeah, it's a really nice product. But yeah, if use code pound for pound, get that 20% off plus free shipping. But yeah, Jimmy, it was an honor to have you on the show. Look forward to watching your fight, and we'll have to do this again sometime.
Yes, sir. Hey, I appreciate you, and have a good one.
You too, man. See you later. Jimmy the Brick Flick. Let's go. I'm excited to see what that man's going to do in the UFC. Really excited to see what he's going to do. Test. You might be able to turn it up just a little bit more, Andrew. Test. All right. Oh, down just a little bit. Sorry. But yeah, great guy. Super exciting to see what he's going to do in the UFC. Big ups to him for coming on the show and sit down and talk with us. We'll have to do it again. But yeah, like we were saying, get 20% off plus free shipping with code pound for pound at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code pound for pound. That is POUNDFORPOUND, not the number 4. It's on the screen also. But yeah, man, that was awesome. I'm really looking forward to his fight. But yeah, let's get into some news real quick. Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz is tonight. For the boxing championship, the 3-time world champion Gervonta Tank Davis. He's 23-0. 22 KOs, faces 4-division world champ Leo Santa Cruz, 37, 1-1, 19 KOs. And yeah, it's a high stake 2 title main event. It's the first event where they're gonna allow fans, which is crazy. I don't understand it, man. Public's gonna be in there and stuff like that. That's just blowing my mind, to be honest with you. I think it's too early for that. But yeah, tune in for that. That'll be on after UFC, I believe. Huge fight, probably one of the biggest fights of the year in boxing. So make sure you're tuning in. All right. Hey, Andrew, do you mind turning my headphones down just a little bit? It's a little loud in them. Appreciate you. But yeah, Leon Edwards versus Khamzat. This dilemma, man, let's I don't want to get too into it, but just quick summary. Leon didn't want to fight Khamzat. They offered him to fight. He was like, no. As a 4th opponent, he has turned down. The UFC threatened to take him out of the rankings from 3rd. He changed his mind instantly, accepted the fight. And then Neil Magny trashed Khamzat and said he took an easy fight, saying, I think it's pretty obvious at this point that his team and himself believed the easier matchup for him was Leon Edwards. Hey, if I'm Neil Magny, I'm going to shut up. I'm just going to be quiet. I am just going to be as quiet as possible and just let them fight. I mean, if he can get in, we're just going to leave it like that. Khamzat's a beast, man. I don't blame Leon Edwards for not wanting to fight Khamzat. Leon Edwards is third. Khamzat's nowhere near that rank. He is just now getting into the UFC. This will be his fourth fight. And if he loses to Khamzat, that's really, really, really bad for Leon. But if he wins, that might be the biggest thing for Leon. It's a huge back and forth with this fight. But yeah, super excited about that. And ladies and gentlemen, Khabib Nurmagomedov has officially retired after his beautiful win against Justin Gaethje. Beautiful and dominant win against Justin Gaethje, their interim champion. Khabib is something else. He is ungodly. He's just one of the best pound for pound fighters we have seen. And it's unfortunate that he's retiring. He's not going to come back. He promised to his mom and to his father. He didn't promise to his father, but you know, he doesn't want to do it without his father. And he promised his mom this will be his last fight. So that's it. He's not coming back. We got 29 fights. We can go back and watch if we want. But Khabib Nurmagomedov has retired as the champion. And I hope he is the number one pound for pound. Let's look that up. Is Khabib the pound for pound UFC pound for pound rankings? Give it to me. Give it to me. Is John Jones still number one, or is it Khabib? Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, Khabib Nurmagomedov is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. John Jones is now number 2. Oh, and looky here. Dustin Poirier is now number 7. Max Holloway is number 8, and Petr Yan is number 9. They've all gone up. Dang, Justin Gaethje went down 3-10. Why are they disrespecting that man? Damn, that sucks, man. That really is a bummer right there. That's a bummer. But yeah, even John Jones said he's okay with Khabib taking the first place until John gets his heavyweight title, which we'll see what happens with that. But I'm excited, man. The UFC is going great. Everything's looking cool. We're smooth sailing. I love it. I absolutely love it. But all right, let's break down this card tonight. First fight, Bobby Green versus Thiago Moises. Lightweight. Bobby Green, 27-10-1. Green is currently on a 3-fight winning streak. Coming into this one, all of the victories have been by decision, though. And the last 8 bouts have been a part of a decision as well. His fight resume is fairly balanced, as it shows he can win in any form necessary to get the job done. He has 8 wins by knockout, 9 by submission, and 10 by decision. He has been on a trend over the years with taking his fights the distance. In fact, the last time he won a fight by something other than a decision was back in 2013. But yeah, he's looking for his 4th win in this silent arena, so technically since COVID started. But yeah, the veteran has looked really, really good, and it's great to see and excited to see what he's going to do tonight. He's facing Thiago Moises, 13-4. Moises is coming off a submission win back in May. He also has a balanced resume, and the only loss he has come from a decision, so it wasn't even a knockout. He has 3 wins by knockout, 5 by submission, 4 by decision, and 1 by other. He is 3-2 since joining the UFC, and he would look to build his resume going forward. Moises is a talented up-and-comer who pretty much jumped in the deep end of 155-pound competition, and he survived. The former RFA champ has some quality jiu-jitsu, and he's shown some power on his feet as well. To win this bout, I think Moises is going to have to pull off something extraordinary, to be honest with you. Like he did by pulling guard into an ankle lock opposite of Michael Johnson. Unless lightning strikes twice, I think Thiago takes home his 4th straight victory of 2020. I honestly do. Yep. We're gonna come back and I'll explain the pick, but I think he's gonna take it. But when I sit here and think, I honestly don't know, because Green is a veteran. I might change, but I'll come back to it. All right, next fight on the list is Kevin Holland versus Charlie Otaveros at middleweight. A late change has been made for this card. Kevin Holland was supposed to fight Makhmad Murdov, but he could not for undisclosed reasons. So now he's fighting Charlie Otaveros. Kevin Holland is 19-5. Holland is in the midst of a run sorry, something got messed up. I had to click back on there. But yeah, he's competing on a run for the mayor of the UFC Apex. This man has been going off in the UFC Apex. He's been competing against Bobby Green as both men look to enter their fourth win inside their silent arena. All this experience inside the octagon seems to be really benefiting the Trailblazer, who appears to have turned a corner and grown more effective than ever. This is an interesting fight. This is going to be an interesting fight, I'm telling you guys. Holland has looked really sharp as of late, but it's worth noting that each of 3 recent wins came against opponents who were looking to close the distance. Holland fought great counters as a result. Man, this fight's about to be crazy, I'm telling you guys. And it's going to be it's a replacement fighter, too, with Charlie Otaveros. But yeah, Charlie Otaveros is 11-6-0. Otaveros will now look to make his octagon debut at 11-6, including several fights with LFA and Fury FC, as well as a past matchup against Michael Venom Page in Bellator. I think most people know who Venom Page is. Michael Page, great fighter. Otaveros is currently riding a 2-fight win streak with a pair of first-round knockouts added to his record. We're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to see what's going to happen with that fight. But yeah, the next fight on the card is Maurice Green versus Greg Hardy. Woo! Big heavyweight fight. Everyone know Greg Hardy. I mean, he's been disqualified so many times in this fight. He's lost a lot of my friends' money in those fights. But Greg Hardy is a force to be reckoned with. Do not sleep on Greg Hardy. Do not. It's not in your best interest. But yeah, Maurice Green, 9-5. Green is coming off a submission win back in June of this year. That win had broken a 2-fight skid since the last time he won an event back in June of 2019. He has 2 wins by knockout, 5 by submission, and 2 by decision. In most of these bouts, he has been able to outstrike his opponents, but Green routinely fails to sit on his punches, which takes away his power. But then he's able to fight at a higher pace by doing that. Admittedly, he is also surprisingly dangerous on the mat, where he's finished 5 of his foes via tap out. Greg Hardy, whose his opponent is, obviously, 6-2-0, 1 no contest, as we talked about. Hardy is coming off a decision win back in May against Yorgan De Castro. Woo, that fight was crazy. Couldn't believe it went to decision. Absolutely could not believe that fight went to decision. But yeah, let's see, where are we going? Sorry, I lost my place. Yeah, he has 5 wins by knockout, 1 by decision. And all of those knockout wins, he's finished in first round, with 4 of them ending in less than a minute. Woo, man. Man. Less than a minute. I mean, just anytime you get a knockout in less than a minute, you're good. Probably gonna get the performance of the night bonus and all that. You're good. But yeah, Greg Hardy is neither the fearsome knockout artist UFC was hoping for nor the washout his detractors would prefer. He's a thoroughly okay heavyweight prospect. Hardly can seemingly hit really hard or maintain a reasonable output for 3 rounds, though mixing the two is still beyond him. It's unfortunate for him, but when he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off. And that's just how it is. But yeah, I'm excited to see Greg Hardy fight. Man, that fight's going to be insane. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, next fight on the list, the co-main event of the night, Bryce Mitchell versus Andre Fili at featherweight. Only one man will leave this fight ranked. Bryce Mitchell, I believe, is 15. Andre Fili is not. If you guys don't know, before I get into Bryce Mitchell, if you guys don't know who Brian Mitchell is, go look him up. That's all I'm going to say. Go look that man up. He is the second man in UFC history to do a UFC twister. Only the second man ever. But yeah, Mitchell currently sits at, and I think he's attempted it in his next fight and almost got it. He might have got it 2 fights. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, Mitchell currently sits at number 15 in the UFC flyweight division, a position he earned on the strength of his 4 straight wins to start his UFC debut. Hey, another reason I love this man, he's the dude that wants the camo shorts. I don't know if you guys know about that, but his nickname is Stug Nasty. Bryce Stug Nasty Mitchell. This boy, I'm almost excited for his fight than I am for Anderson Silva fight, because after this fight, if he wins, he's all main events, 100%, all main events after this. Yeah, we know Mitchell for most likely going for that twister submission. He is a grinder, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt with a high school wrestling background. He is deceptively athletic, and he is in it for the long run in the fight. He will terrorize you, absolutely terrorize you. But yeah, he's very tight on the mat, gives great pressure. He's very hard to fight. Exceptional ground game, exceptional fighter. Looking forward to him fighting. But yeah, his opponent is Andre Fili at 13-4. After several years struggling to find consistent success in the octagon, Fili flipped a switch, and he's performed measurably better as a result. He's won 3 of his last 4 bouts, and once again, Touchy is looking to break into the rankings with a victory over Bryce. Fili is a well-rounded combatant who prefers to strike on the feet. Fili is a powerful kicker who shifts between stance well. And he's also quite skilled at timing. You can be honest with you. He can react to the double leg takedowns. He can press opponents while doing so. He's versatile. He's very well matched for Bryce Mitchell. So that's why this fight is going to be so great, in my opinion. But yeah, that's the co-main event. And ladies and gentlemen, the big fight of the night. Anderson the Spider Silva versus Uriah Hall at middleweight. The legend, the GOAT, Anderson Silva. This will probably be his final fight in the UFC, unfortunately. UFC even tweeted today a video of him fighting and stuff, saying 14 years of greatness. Tonight, we say farewell. Man, this is going to be a hard night. This is going to be a really hard night. But all right, let's break it down. Uriah Hall, 16-9. He's coming off a 2-fight winning streak heading into this event. Most recently was his decision win back in September of 2019 over Antonio Carlos Jr. He is also currently ranked as the 10th best fighter in the middleweight division. He has 12 wins by knockout, 1 by submission, and 3 by decision. Uriah Hall makes his money within the realm of fundamentals and countering. Whether we're talking about the counter crosses that Hall has utilized throughout his career or his highlight reel assaults, it is Hall's ability to read and react and make his game so special. Since moving shop to Fortis MMA in Texas, Hall seems to be getting back on one of his most underrated weapons, which is his jab. Picking a fast jab from both stances, Hall seems to be seamlessly failing into Saif Saad's systematic combination that he calls from the corner. That's his coach, by the way. It's very it's I want to pronounce this right. Saif Saad. Saif Saad. Sayif and then Saud. Saif Saad. Interesting name. I kind of like that, actually. Sayif. Saif. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I apologize if it's not. But yeah, he's fighting the one and only, the legend, Anderson the Spider Silva. 34-10 with 1 no contest. Do we need to say it? Silva's a legendary fighter looking to continue to be a competitive fighter in this division. Not in the UFC, but in this division, wherever it's at. He is not on the same level as he used to be, though, but no fighter should ever try to underestimate him at this point. His fighting resume shows that he has 23 wins by knockout, 3 by submission, and 8 by decision. He has an impressive 18-fight winning streak before going on a 4-fight skid, then finally got a win, and is now on a 2-fight losing streak. As you can see, he's been going through it a little bit these past few fights, unfortunately. But Silva is an intelligent fighter who can either set up a kill shot or win a round with minimal yet efficient efforts. Silva can still get a lot done by doing very little in retrospect. From the psychological warfare of his low-handed taunts to his accurate and intercepting counter-strikes, Silva has made his money by coordinating high-risk situations. Despite this style working well for Silva throughout the majority of his career, speed is often the first thing to go amongst aging fighters, as the legend could pay for leaning in those attributes too heavily. If he goes out of his way, it's not going to be good. If he's not quick enough, he could get knocked out doing that. But regardless of the result, I suspect that Silva will still need his fundamentals firmly intact if he means to play in the same division as these other fighters. I'm excited, man. I'm super excited for Silva. Super excited for this fight. Sucks this is probably his last fight with the UFC, but it most likely is. But definitely going to be watching. Definitely going to be watching. All right, let's break these down for these winners. For Bobby Green versus Thiago Moises, Green has a lot to work on, and he's put in a lot of work over years. He's faced many tough opponents along the way in the division. Moises has a solid resume entering this one, but he has a lot of ground game to make up when it comes to experience. This is exactly what this fight will be about. Experience. Green has him beat on solid performances in striking, takedowns, and stamina. My pick is Green wins via decision. For the Kevin Holland, Charlie Otaveros fight, I got to take Holland wins decision. I think Otaveros coming in late, it's just not going to work out in his favor, I don't think. So I'm going to take Kevin Holland. For that third fight, I'm going to go Maurice Green. Oh, no, sorry. I'm not going Maurice Green. I was just reading it out. But yeah, Maurice Green versus Greg Hardy, heavyweight. Most likely these two trade low kick jabs and occasional flurries at one another for 3 rounds. Hardy is more likely of the two to land a takedown, but that seems poor idea giving Green submission edge. Maybe he tries to blow Green out of the water immediately, but that's less and less his style recently, and Green is nothing if not tough. Yeah, I'm going to go Greg Hardy wins via TKO, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It's Greg Hardy for that. But yeah, Bryce Mitchell versus Andre Fili. If Mitchell is able to avoid Andre's impressive stand-up game and get him on to the ground, I see him controlling his fight. If not, it will be up in the air. But yeah, I think Mitchell's going to win this one via submission, and it's going to be Twister. I think that's what everyone wants to see. But yeah, for the main event, Anderson Silva versus Uriah Hall. You can't count out Silva. He's a legend. He has all the respect. He's your fighter's favorite fighter. However, you cannot ignore his decline in the past 10 years. But yeah, Hall is tough. He's in a tough spot fighting Silva. He's been deadly for 10 years. However, Hall is capable of knocking out Silva and at least taking over the fight in a decision win. Overall, this fight is going to be an incredible fight, to be honest with you. I'm taking Anderson Silva via decision. But yeah, that's the fight card, man. It's going to be a great fight tonight. Some great fighters. Sad to see Anderson Silva go. We don't know if he's going to retire after this. I hope not. But we'll see. Before I go, we'll show you some of these products again. Let's do this. But like I said, get 20% off plus free shipping with the code pound for pound at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code pound for pound. And like the box says, your balls will thank you. But yeah, all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. First episode fully on YouTube. Feels good. Feels great. Really excited to be on this platform so I can reach more of you guys. But yeah, please like and subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, tonight, Anderson Silva versus Uriah Hall. Make sure you're watching. That starts at 7. Prelims are going on right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Shout out to Manscaped. Thanks for sponsoring the podcast. Appreciate you guys. And one more time, 20% off plus free shipping with code pound for pound at manscaped.com. Thanks, guys.